Hello, everyone. It's Quila, and as you can see, I'm actually in my bed. I just been doing a lot of thinking, and as I told you in a previous video, that I had some stuff on my mind that I wanted to kind of talk about. So I I just wanted to first say this. I'm learning that there's a lot of programming going on. I knew through the years that it has been a programming through all these years when it comes to how females are being groomed nowadays, how men are being groomed nowadays. But here's the thing. I seen it. I know that it's out there, but I really didn't know how much of an impact it was on me. Um, One day I was basically, you know how you just on YouTube and you just watching videos and things like that, and out of nowhere this one video popped up, and it got me curious into the channel of this person. And what she was basically talking about is how females act a certain type of way based on what their programming was, with how the world programs these women to be, and why they are out of control with their emotions and everything else. So it was just like, it blew me on some of the things she said. She has valid points on everything. It was very legit what she was talking about, and I never looked at it to where it was about me. I just saw the channel and I was just like, okay, let me see what she's talking about. Let me see her videos. But there was a couple of times in watching her videos that a couple little things just hit me. It was just like, it pointed at me for some weird reason. It just stood out to me. It wasn't even the point of the video or the topic of the video. It was just the point of it. It hit me in a certain way because I was like, huh, I didn't look at it that way. And I had to really open my eyes to this. So I want to first say, there's this thing out there that people are always saying that females act out of control because they have daddy issues. And I want to bring it to the head that that's not always the case. Because I was raised by my dad. My mom raised me until I was probably about 10 years old. But my dad raised us the rest of the way. It was four of us. It was me, my sister, my brother, and then my baby sister. And my mom kept my baby sister, but my dad kept the rest of the three. And we moved to a different state. He raised us as best he could. He was a man. He was also in the military. He made sure he provided. He made sure we knew the right type of values. We was raised to know not to go popping babies before marriage. We knew to make sure we waited till marriage. My dad was one of those people like, baby, just don't go out there having sex until you're at least 18 years old. I don't want you doing anything wrong. And I was like, me and my sister took that as, deal, we can do that. Yeah, that's fine. We was good girls. Like, we didn't have all the craziness that's going on around the world, around, the black generation period. We wasn't out there like that. We was good girls. We were very sheltered. We were in the house when we were supposed to be. We didn't go nowhere. We didn't go to a bunch of parties and stuff like that. We wasn't doing all kinds of ratchetness. We was not those type of girls. We were good girls. But one thing I do see is people see that when a female express themselves, or when they, have a point to make and they need to be heard, they have a feeling of needing to be heard, they always point it as, oh, she has daddy issues, she don't know how to act and all this other stuff. So it's just like, I've heard it so many years, but I never looked at it as that was directed to me, because I knew I didn't have daddy issues because I was raised with my dad, and my dad was always in my life. And even now, I'm a straight up daddy's girl. Like, there's nothing you can tell me that says I'm not. And I adore my daddy. He's always been there. He's in Arizona now, so it's like, it's hard for me to keep in touch with him now, and it kills me because I really miss my dad. And it's just like, I wish he was here. I really do, because I need my dad, and there's nothing like it when you have your dad in your life. There's nothing like it. My mom raised us up until we was probably about 10 years old. I'm the oldest out of the four, so up until I was about 10 years old, that's when my mom and dad separated. So from then on, I was raised like my dad. I don't remember much about my mom other than the fact that I remember seeing her. She was beautiful. I looked just like my mom. She was beautiful. She was never a person that raised her voice. She was never a person that talked out of line. She always was quiet. She barely spoke above a whisper. She was always dressed in a way that was respectable about her body. You never seen her showing her breasts or her boobs or her butt or anything like that. She was a lady, and I respected that about her because it was beautiful to me. For some reason, when a woman shows their lady, and there is a difference, there's definitely a difference from a lady and a woman to me in my eyes, because I'm a woman, but I don't see myself as a lady, not yet, at least. I think I'm growing into that idea. There's guys that see me as lady, like my husband, he will call me little lady, or he'll call me his little lady. That's what he always calls me all the time. And to me, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's cute. I love it. But, that's his little nickname for me. But at the same time, I never looked at myself as a little lady for some reason. I always knew I was a woman. I knew I was a mom. Knew I was the provider, the head of the household. I put on those roles already. But to call myself a lady, that was kind of a different picture that I was like hoping to see one day. I just didn't think I was that yet. And I don't know why. That's just what it was. Now, here's the thing that I'm just not realizing. Through watching this lady's videos, she talks a lot about femininity and masculinity, and why females are taking the masculine role and things like that, and why guys are choosing not to be with these women. And it's just, it brought a little bit to light on what's really going on out there in the world, and why the dating scene is just a hot mess. It's like really a hot mess. But I'm not looking to date. I'm married. I'm fine. That's not the problem. So my thing is I'm very blunt when it comes to how I bring out what I need to say, what I need you to hear type thing. And I've never really cared about the outcome of that. I am respectable when it comes to who I am. I don't go around showing my body on things. I don't wear things that are very provocative looking. I don't like that attention. I wasn't raised like that. I was always raised to respect myself and be a lady, or be, respectable of your body, period. So when it comes to just being raised by my dad, I knew I was being raised right. I knew all through these years, like, I still use the things that he raised me as to raise my kids. I raised my kids the way my dad raised me in some form, in a lot of forms. Like, I use a lot of the things. He taught me how to save money. He taught me how to manage my money, how to make sure I don't waste time buying things that I don't need. I don't take out loans. I never owned a credit card. I don't want anything that has to do with me having to pay something back for any reasons. So I just took on this whole role of managing money a certain type of way, and making sure my household was this way, a certain type of way. My dad always raised us to where you don't let nobody see your mess. It's like, you don't have to have a messy house, but still, if you know somebody's coming over, or if anything was supposed to happen, like anytime before you leave the house, clean your house up, straighten it up, make sure your floor is vacuumed and stuff like that. Your house don't have to be perfect, but at the least your floor needs to be clean, and your counters need to be wiped down, your bed and your bedroom needs to be on point type thing. My dad has always raised us to do that. And as a kid, you don't realize how much that means something as you get older. And now, like, literally, I live by those values. I make sure my kids can tell you, I do not leave my house. I don't leave this room. I don't leave anything. Even when I have my houses or anything, I don't leave anything for the chance of I might end up having somebody come back. And I don't want them to come back to see anything laying on the floor, anything, out of place or anything like that. I'm very much of a neat freak. After having kids, it kind of went out the window, but I have always been the person that likes things in place. And I thank my dad for it, because I don't know what I would have been without my dad. My dad was a great role model in my life. He's taught me a lot of things. He showed me how to do things to fix a car. He showed me how to take care of my kids. He showed me how to take care of a household, manage bills, how to make sure I knew how to take care of business. It's a lot he done, and I'm so grateful that he was there for it all, and that he had a lot on his hands because he had three of us to actually take care of. My mom kept the baby of the family. She's grown now, but at that time she was only barely 3 years old, and he kept her. My mom kept her to raise her, so my dad can be able to do what he had to do to take care of all three of us. And it was a lot of, now that I'm a mom and I'm a provider and I take care of my own, I can see the load he had on him, and he had to still work. He had to try to run his businesses. It was a lot that he had on his shoulders. So I don't blame him for a thing. I really don't, because I really am proud of my dad for standing up for the position that he took on. And I'm grateful that he raised us in the way that he did, because you don't really see that nowadays at all. Like, it's non-existent. I swear it's non-existent anymore. But to say that I have daddy issues because I like to express myself, it's just completely wrong, because I am very expressive. I am a female. I will express myself. And I know this because I have this bluntness about me where I will, if I'm pretty much to myself when it comes to things. I'm not really a person that likes to tell people my moves or my business or anything like that. I'm very private. But when I do need to say something, I need you to hear me type thing. I'm one of those. I need you to hear me. I need to, if I tell you some steps that I need you to work on or to at least help manage with me, I need you to fall in line where you need to. And I'm very direct on that. And then when it doesn't go my way, I have a problem. And I didn't know how serious this problem was until just recently, because I've always, put it like this. I never had a guy that walked away from me. I always have been attractive to guys, and they've always wanted to marry me in some form, but none of them actually left me for any way that I was acting or anything like that. I don't know if that's a plus or a minus. I have no idea. But all I know is that every guy I dated that was long term, they all wanted to marry me. And I take it as my dad just raised me right. That's all I see it as. My dad raised me right, and they can see the value that I had in myself as far as respecting myself, and how I take care of my household. But here's the thing. You don't realize how much you're not paying attention to things when you're in this type of position. Because I was raised right, and my dad raised me. But now that I'm looking at it after watching this lady's videos, I started hearing these things about masculinity and femininity, and I'm up here, I've always been, I'm a female, I'm a female, I'm a girl, yeah, I'm a woman, I take care of my stuff, I know what I'm doing, you can't tell me nothing. But that mouth right there that I just did, that was my personality all this time. And I've always heard the same thing when it comes to guys telling me, they was like, you need to calm down with your mouth. And I don't know, I wasn't real ratchet with it. I wasn't that crazy, always putting my finger in your face type thing. I wasn't shouting and doing all that stuff when it comes to stuff. But when I get to the point where I'm like, you're not hearing me, I will raise my voice, and I will try to direct it straight to you, especially if you need to hear something about yourself. I'm very direct with it. I need to tell you something. And I'm seeing now that there's a lot of things that I've done through the years that even my husband was warning me, or at least telling me to calm down on. And I was looking at it like, you just don't know what you're talking about, because you just trying not to take care of business on your end, and you trying to put it on me. That's not me. That's not my problem. That's not my fault. You just need to step up as a man. So that right there, just me saying stuff like that, my husband had to hear a lot. And even though I have a valid issue with what I walked away from my husband for, I'm now seeing that there's a reason why my husband shut down on a lot of issues, because I always told him, like, he'll tell me, the way you treated me was the way I started acting because of the way you treated me. And I was like, no, get it right. No, you are acting out because of whatever your reasons are. And I'm treating you the way you showing me that you need to be treated because of the way you're acting out. So the two views right there just clashed on a regular basis. So my thing is when I watched this lady's video, her videos, because I straight binge watched her whole channel like already, and I think I'm like in the second lap of it. But when I watched her videos, a couple things stood out to me, and it was the point of there's women displaying masculine energy, and I had to look at myself as, am I one of those type of females that display this? Because I never saw myself as that. I never saw myself as masculine energy. I just always said, you know, I move like a dude. I move like a man. I don't sit there and do that whining stuff about, you know, buying purses and shoes. I don't care about none of that stuff. I don't care about clothes. I don't care about none of that stuff that females talk about on a regular basis, or what dude did this and what dude did that. I never had female friends growing up because I don't care about those conversations. I only cared about how my next move was going to be made, how I needed to make sure that my kids was okay, how I needed to make sure my house was taken care of, how I need to pay my bills. And I only talked about real stuff like that. So I was always in that mindset of, I don't talk female. I talk like a dude. I make moves like a dude. I knew that much, but I didn't know how deep that went until just now. And it was like, it hit me because I started seeing myself in a different light, and I'm starting to now see why my husband is like, don't talk to me like that, or you need to calm down when you say certain things or stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, I know I was, you know, strict with my mouth, but I didn't know it was deeper than what he was already saying as it is. Like, I didn't know, I thought he was just telling me not to yell at him. I didn't know it was deeper than that, as in he wanted me to make sure I talk in a respectable way to him, where I could still get my point across. I could still tell him what I felt about things, but do it respectably. And of course, the Bible talks about respecting your husband and things like that. And for some reason, I know this. I know that's what the Bible says. And I still look at it like I want to be that. But at the same time, I'm so set in my ways. I'm like, how do I do that? I don't know how to do it because I thought I was doing it. I thought I was, because when you think of respecting your husband, I was thinking of like, okay, so that means I don't get to talk to my husband about things I feel. Or if I say stuff that I feel like is a problem, I can't bring it to you because you too busy taking it look like it's me being dramatic about something. So it's just like, I felt like I couldn't have a voice, and I had to learn that's not what the Bible was talking about. It was more of just respecting them as a whole, and you could still you could still verbalize yourself with your opinions. Just do it in the right way. And I am at a point in my life where I have to learn this right way. And I didn't know this. I knew how to speak respectable because, you know, if you go into a store or you go to somebody's business, you know how to speak, right? You know how to, yes, ma'am. Hi, how you doing? You know how to do that. But as soon as you go home, you're like, what do you want? Like, I don't feel like it right now. You know, stuff like that come out your mouth. And it's like, you know better. You know what you're supposed to do. But for some reason, when you are built up with all these frustrations, it just comes out like that. And I had a lot of frustration built up through the years of being married twice and just, you know, going through all this stuff on my own, and all this frustration just was building up. And I'm like, why is it that this guy does not want to pick up on his end, and why I got to do everything by myself? And my first husband was like that crazy for some odd reason, and my second husband, he's the sweetest little thing. And I'm just like, well, what is going on with this picture? Because I thought, you know, it was going to be something different. And I know he loves me. I know for a fact he loves me. His heart is so pure. I know for a fact he loves me. And these girls, I know for a fact there's nothing to put past him. He has the purest heart ever. That's why I'm at this point where I'm like, I need to fix whatever this is, because I need to get my husband back in the right lining, because all this stuff, I didn't know it was building up in him for so many years and not going away, to the point to where I basically broke him when I separated. He's still, you know, always wanting to keep in touch and everything like that. I told you in the last video, but at the same time, my husband has explained to me, or not explained, he just told me. He says, I'm basically numb. He said numb. And that hurt, because I'm like, I don't want him to hurt like that. And he claims he's not hurt. But if you got the nerve to be calling yourself numb, and you you don't feel things no more, you're hurting. You're definitely hurting. And I made him hurt this way. And it feels bad because I didn't mean to. I just wanted him to straighten up. And now it's to the point where I'm like, I gotta fix my husband. And it's a lot. But to say I have these expression issues because of daddy issues is not the case, because I was raised with my dad. What I did find out though, what I have learned through watching those things and analyzing this stuff in me, I've learned that it has nothing to do with daddy issues. It's the fact that my dad, even though as great as he is, and I am so proud of everything he has done to raise me, because he did a great job. But one thing that he could not do, and no man is able to do, is to raise me as a feminine lady. He is a man. Men cannot raise a feminine lady, just like a woman cannot raise a masculine son. And it's just not their role. It's not, they could teach you the regular things. They could teach you how to do this, how to do that, how to keep your room clean, how to do your homework, how to make sure you manage money, how to save money, how to, prepare for you living on your own, how to drive a car. Yeah, they could teach you all that. But as far as the emotions of a woman, my dad could not teach me that, because he's not a woman. And yeah, he had females in his life. He's even married now through the years, like the later years of our upbringing. My dad was married, still is married to the same lady. But for some reason, we only knew what my dad was teaching us. We didn't learn that kind of stuff from her. So it's kind of weird to see now that might be my issue. The fact that my dad just couldn't teach us these type of feminine roles, even though he always said, don't have no babies until you're married. And we did that. And make sure you clean up after yourself, and take care of your husband, and make sure you talk to your husband, respect your husband. Yeah, he told us those things, but he couldn't tell us how to act as far as like when you are expressing yourself, do it in a way like this, or when you talk to your husband, you need to talk in this type of way. He never said things like that, because my dad, he was all about making sure things were taken care of and doing his business. And, it was never a conversation like that. So I'm seeing a lot of us not actually, as young females, we're not being taught these type of things at home. And it shows that that lady was right in her videos. A lot of us are not taught that. And I didn't know how deep that was until it hit me, because I thought I was fine. I've always did not see that I knew I always had things that I could work on, but I never thought I was that much of an issue. And now that I'm raising 2 girls of my own, I'm like, oh my God, I got to get this in order now, because now I'm raising 2 girls that see me acting in these ways to my husband. And they're at an age now where they understand things. And I'm like, I have to fix this. I have to fix whatever this is that's going on. It's not at all taking away whatever the responsibility my husband is supposed to be carrying at all when it comes to why I separated from him. But at the same time, it could have been done in a better way. You know what I mean? And I need to make sure I correct this in myself. It ain't even about my husband. I need to correct this in myself, because I need my kids to learn this properly. You know what I mean? I need my kids I have 2 daughters. I need them to know through me, because they watch everything you do. They watch their parents, and they act out what their parents act out. And if I'm too busy being the head of everything, and I'm too busy, shutting down my husband when he has something to say, or not letting him have a role of a man, when I'm like, no, I got it. No, I'm good. No, I don't need your opinion. If I'm constantly doing this and degrading him, my kids are seeing this. Even though I don't feel like I'm doing anything wrong or mean any harm, it is. And I'm just now seeing how deep that is when it comes to my husband, because my husband has completely shut down feeling wise. Even though he's still showing that he's still there for us, he's emotionally gone and feeling a void where he's like, I don't have my family no more, and he doesn't have feeling anymore. And it's like, it hurts, because I feel like I did this, and I feel like I'm a lot of whatever that is he's feeling. I feel like he had a void before he knew me, but at the same time, I feel like whatever it is that he's feeling right now, I definitely pushed him over the edge. And he's a great guy when it comes to still trying to take it out, or still trying to work it out, and still trying to, be in our lives and be there for us. Anything I ask him for, he helps me. Anything, he's such a great guy. He has the purest heart I've ever seen. No matter who I dated before or married, this guy has the purest heart I've ever seen, and that's real. And I don't want to give that up. There's no way I'm gonna let that go on purpose just to find another guy that's less than that. That's not logical to me. So I need to fix this. I need to make sure I learn what I need to learn, because I need to teach my kids the right thing, and I need to make sure they understand what's the difference in what I've showed them versus what's the right way. Because soon they're going to be looking at trying to marry themselves, and I need them to go in it the right way, so they're not one of the other statistics out there telling them why I can't find a man and this and that, and men are all dogs and this is that. I don't need them saying none of that hoopla. I need them to see what their actions and what their consequences are. I need them to see what's the right way versus the wrong way to do things, to know how to respect this man from the beginning. And yeah, there's always going to be that one dude that just ain't got no sense, then don't know how to act, but that doesn't mean you have to degrade yourself as a person to match that. It don't mean that. Like, go leave him alone and go find the right one. Like, there's plenty of them out there that's willing to treat you like a queen, that's willing to value you for your true value. And I have that, and look how I treated it. You see what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with daddy issues. It's just the fact that I did not get raised with a feminine aspect of anything. And I've only known the role of taking care of business like my daddy, and making sure everything's taken care of, making sure your kids are right, making sure your household's right. I don't have daddy issues. I have lack of feminine role model issues. That's what I'm going to just have to say. That's what it is, because that's all I know. And I never knew it was an issue until now, but I know they're going well. It has to do with making sure I did everything right all these years when it comes to making sure my household is together. I definitely love that fact about me, and my kids is always peaceful. They're always taken care of. My bills is always good. Even if I have to, struggle for a hot minute, I know how to get my butt up and get off my feet and make sure things is in line. And I never went under the water because of the way my dad has raised me, to make sure I toughen things out and take care of things. But what I did not have was that feminine energy to where I can learn how to be the right type of wife, the right type of partner for my husband, instead of just taking over the role and not allowing him to have any voice in the matter. And I really got to learn all this. I don't know where to start. I don't even know how to fix it. I'm pushing 40 right now. I don't know where to start. And I've started talking to my husband about it. I didn't really show him or tell him anything about where it's coming from, but he does see that I'm trying to learn. And I started bombarding him with a bunch of questions and like, okay, so how do you feel about this? Because one of the things the lady said was, nobody ever asks the man how he feels about things. It's always whatever the female feels, that's what everybody goes off of. And nobody ever asks the man what he feels. So I'm like, okay, let me take that to my husband. So I said, okay, what do you feel about this? What do you feel about that? Okay, what about this question? Okay, so what's your feelings about this? And I literally was texting back to back to back to back to back. And my husband was like, you need to slow down. And you're bombarding me with a whole bunch of questions. And I didn't know that's how he felt. He was answering the questions and he was going along with everything. And he was like, yeah, I like the fact that you're trying to learn. I like the fact that you're actually thinking about me. He was saying those things too. So I was thinking like, everything's good. Yeah. Okay. Next question. But my husband, he had to tell me, you need to slow down. He says, you bombarded me with a bunch of questions. And I said, well, I thought we was having a conversation. And he was like, yeah, we are, but you just hit me with question after question after question. And you're not even asking me about the answers that I'm asking the question. Because here's the thing. one of the things when the lady said something about nobody asks the man about anything and don't know what he feels about things, nobody asks them. She also said, and don't bombard him with whatever you feel about whatever he answers. She was like, if you ask him a question and he answers you, don't go tell him about what you feel about what he answered. Don't go sit here and try to put your input and how to fix his issues and stuff like that. Just let him talk. So I was like, okay. So when I started asking him these questions, I was like, okay, what do you feel about this? And then he'll answer. And then I'll be like, okay, next question. What do you feel about that? And he'll answer. And I'm like, okay, next question. What do you feel about? So I was in my head, I was doing like she said, don't go elaborate in what you feel about what he answered. So I was like, okay, I must be doing it right? Yeah, I'm doing it right. Apparently I'm doing that wrong too. Because my husband was like, you didn't even talk about my answers. You just went to the next question and next question. And I felt so overwhelmed and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what was going on. And he was like, I like the fact that you're trying to learn now. And it shows that you're trying. And he was like, I like that we do need to talk and things like that. And he's like, but just slow down. And I was like, okay. I'm realizing now I have to listen. So it's kind of weird because I have to listen on another level than I ever thought I was listening ever. And yeah, I hear him saying slow down. So now I got to actually hear behind what he's saying. And he's telling me slow down. So I got to take that and actually hear my husband and hear what he's saying and take into that and give him the respect of that. So it's a lot of learning that I got to do. I'm here for it. I'm kind of, the weirdest thing is I'm excited. When I learn something new, I'm very excited and I go bogarting everything. Like, I'm like, okay, this is what I'm learning about me now. I need you to hear it. I want you to know this. I want you to know that. And I need you to hear it. Can you listen to me? And he's like, okay, I see you're excited. And he's like, it's going to take time, but slow down. And I'm like, okay, so I gotta start just listening and not thinking it's all about me. And I think that's what it was coming from. Like, everything, like when I feel something, I need you to know. And he's like, okay, I see that you're excited about something and you want me to talk about it and things like that, but I need you to step down on my level too and just take your time with it. And it's not going to all happen overnight. And I need you to just slow down. So I'm like, okay, I have to pay attention to what he's saying because I didn't know I was ignoring that much all these years. So yeah. So that's basically the beginning of what started hitting me lately. And I got a lot more to talk about when it comes to it. So I do want to talk about it. And I want y'all to hear my growth on things and the progression of if it's working or not with my husband, and just see how things go. And hopefully through all this, hopefully it shows, because then hopefully my kids can learn the better value in this whole process for when they start having a relationship and getting married and all that stuff. So I really hope this works right, but you never know. So we'll see what happens, and I hope y'all stay tuned for the ride. I just really hope I can fix my husband through all this, because knowing what I've done through these years, now that I'm actually opening my eyes to it, I really, really need to fix this. And it's just, I need to fix this. So that's that. That's what I got to say on this right now. I have future topics to talk about, so I'll see you in the next videos. Bye. Thanks for listening.